I've been sick the last couple of days. Had a bout or a extended visit with the porcelain throne the other night and threw up a total of about 12 times. And so I'm pretty spent at this point. But I felt compelled that I had to come on and share with you what I think is going to happen in the stock market this next week and in the coming weeks. We've got two opposing forces. We have the banking system that is just getting started in the failures that we're going to see and the problems that are going to happen. And then on the other side, we have OpenAI, ChatGPT, genome sequencing, genome editing, two opposing forces that are going to be pushing the stock market in different directions, depending on what the talking heads tell you on any given day. So I wanted to take the time to get into that. It's going to be a short video, but I think it's important that you have a feel for what's coming next.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
The banks basically failed in the past a couple of weeks as a result of you and I taking our deposits out of the bank and buying treasuries because we could make more on their interest from treasuries than we could from the banks. And so that's understood. And those banks that were overextended in that area immediately were brought under scrutiny, and the government stepped in, and two of them were shut down. But I don't think what a lot of people recognize is that's just the beginning of the problem. I shared with you last week a website, Loop, L-O-O-P, net.com, and I think it's something you must go see. On loopnet.com, you're going to find, as the website tells me, all the companies that the banks own these properties. Well, what does that mean? Well, 2 years ago, our Winn-Dixie is a supermarket that got put out of business, or not put out of business, but gained a lot of competition from Publix and Whole Foods and some others. And so they filed for bankruptcy protection. What does that mean? That means that they basically went to the bank and their creditors and said, hey, we can't pay our bills. We can't pay our bills. We're barely getting by paying our salaries, so we need some leniency. So what the bank does is comes in and says, okay, we'll take the ownership of the building as collateral, and then you keep it open and see if you can get it back on a solid ground so we can recoup our money. And then you pay us what little you can to keep the doors open. So that's why the Winn-Dixie down the street from me, about 3 miles away, is listed on LoopNet. At the same time, if you dig deeper into Birmingham's LoopNet, you're going to find about 5 to 10 Zaxby's for sale. What is that? Well, Zaxby's, I don't know if you have them in your place, but it's a chicken restaurant. Put chicken on salads, chicken sandwiches, whatever. Well, what's happened is Chick-fil-A said, hey, they're doing some business there. Why don't we build a Chick-fil-A right next door or within a block of Zaxby's? And so Zaxby's apparently has filed for bankruptcy. The biggest one is a $4 billion building that used to house Wells Fargo's real estate division, their residential real estate division. If you look into the analysis I did of the banks, you know that Wells Fargo is the largest commercial loan holder in the nation. They're on the ropes. Now, you put that together with the fact that a car payment, the average car payment now in the United States is up to about $1,000. And I just saw that on the news the other night, and you got to be kidding me. But that's the case. Well, if you get laid off, or your wife gets laid off and you can't make all your payments, or you're going to stop feeding your kids, or you're going to stop buying them shoes, or you're going to stop making a payment on that pickup truck or that SUV. That's what you're going to do. I just went to the bank today, Saturday morning, and I walked into the bank, and it's a 2-story building, and there's 5 people in there. 5 people, and but yet the parking lot's full of cars. And I walked away and I said, that just doesn't make sense. Or does it? Are they already repossessing cars and they're parking them in their empty parking lots? I don't know that. But what I do know is the banks are going down this road of they had, what is it? What was the terminology? Unrealized losses that they had to declare. Well, this bankruptcy. Go to loopnet.com. Enter your city and then drive around and look what's going on in the banking world. That's just the beginning. Again, think of how a bank makes money. You give it deposits. You stop giving it deposits, apparently. They invest the money, and then they pay you interest on your deposits less than what they collect on their investments. But that got turned upside down when Jerome ran the interest rates up, and now they make less on their investments than they were making than they were paying on your deposits, and you got wise to it and you pulled your money out. Now, the other element of their income is that of interest payments on loans. That all works well until you stop making those payments. Now, there are some banks who are also in the investment business. J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America. They don't make the big part of their income off of loan payments and deposit investment. So they'll probably be okay, but the price is going to go down as the auxiliary problems come to face. So that being said, understand that's going to happen. But at the same time, understand what ChatGPT, OpenAI, artificial intelligence is going to do. You are going to be able to interact with any and every website you go to in the not too distant future. So if you go to a BMW website, and you say, I can't make my payments on my BMW, a avatar will come up and say, well, tell me, Kerry, what exactly the situation is. And you tell them, I can't make this. I got a $1,000 payment on my BMW. Well, let's see if we can't get it down to a more reasonable payment. You will talk to an avatar and you will negotiate. And you will come to a conclusion. You'll do that on every website that you want to interact with. And the reason that will work is you're not dealing with a person who has limited knowledge. This avatar has the data from 40 years, has everything about your financial stability, and can make a better decision than a human being can. That will work for mortgages. It will work for buying a car, buying a house. The internet is going to become a living, breathing beast. And that's the problem that I think part of our government has recognized. This is going to become a beast, but it's coming. Then right behind that, you've got genome sequencing, genome editing. The healthcare world's going to explode. I've been through the dot-com bubble. It was terrible. And then the sun came out, and it shined for years. And then we went through the subprime crisis, and it was terrible. And then the sun came out, and everything was wonderful. And then the biggest screw-up was we allowed the Chinese to import or export a disease to us. And it's taken us down. I was fearful that that's what I had, but I'm not out of breath. I just, as I said, I spent some time at the porcelain throne. It's been ugly, but okay. I feel better now. I got some energy back. I'll go back to bed. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. I hope.